Tonight, a man found in a teenage girl's bedroom is facing 15 years in prison. 43-year-old David Reeves was sentenced for breaking into a Charlotte County home in 2017. The teenager woke up with Reeves in her bedroom. The dogs outside her door began barking, and her dad came in to see what was wrong. Reeves ran, but was later caught by police. He is charged with burglary of a dwelling, false imprisonment, petty theft, and failure to register as a sex offender. The woman accused of killing her husband in Minnesota, then coming to Fort Myers Beach and killing a tourist, has been indicted by a grand jury in Minnesota. According to court documents, Lois Reese was indicted on first and second-degree murder charges for the 2018 death of her husband, David. According to court documents, penalties for the first-degree murder is life in prison without release. The maximum penalty for second-degree murder, no more than 40 years. And Lois is expected to be back in Lee County Court on September 5th for a case management conference hearing for the death of Pamela Hutchinson.
That Collier County elementary school teacher accused of molesting several students has pleaded not guilty. Hector Manley worked as a second-grade teacher at Parkside Elementary School in Naples. He's facing 21 charges total, 19 of those for lewd or lascivious molestation and 2 charges for sexual battery of a child younger than 12 years old. Today, he pleaded not guilty in court. His next court appearance is now set for September 6th for a case management hearing. Today, Florida Power and Light announced it's going to start construction on 10 new solar sites around the state, including here in Southwest Florida. Those locations will be in Charlotte, Hendry, and DeSoto counties. This is video of other panels in Florida. The new sites are expected to begin powering customers by early 2020. FPL says it's on a mission to install more than 30 million solar panels in the state by the year 2030. Meanwhile, the governor has signed off on a bill that aims to protect you from contractors or others trying to charge your insurance without your permission. He signed a bill that's known as abuse of insurance agreements, and you have to know it as an assignment of benefits. Essentially, you allow a company to directly bill your insurance, but sometimes a company takes advantage of that, so the bill would establish new protections to keep that from happening. In case you haven't noticed, it's graduation season. A lot of high school and college seniors have already walked the stage.
But one particular seniors class was over 70 years ago. Straight ahead, the story behind this vet's long-awaited high school graduation.
We all know blue-green algae stinks, literally, but it can also be harmful to your body. Straight ahead, the EPA's new guidelines for how dangerous this algae is to people. And later,
the real heroes are the ones that didn't make it back. They had no tomorrow.
This Memorial Day, Fox 4 is remembering why this holiday is so important to us all. Derek?
And we're keeping a close eye on the temperatures as we head into the holiday weekend. Your latest Memorial Day forecast coming up.
Hey everyone, I'm Lauren Petrelli. Looking ahead to your Memorial Day weekend, there's some construction in Lee County that could really slow you down. So this is happening along Alico Road from 7 p.m. until 5 a.m. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The road will be shut down from Ben Hill Griffin Parkway to Airport Hall Road. This is all part of the widening project. Don't forget though, you can join me every weekday morning on Fox 4 Morning News. I'll tell you how construction like this, plus crashes, can slow down that morning commute.
In case you haven't noticed it on Facebook, it's a busy time of year for a lot of families with high school graduations. Seniors have been waiting a long time for this big day, but probably not as long as the senior in this story.
Yeah, no doubt. Sean Daly met with the World War II veteran who's waited 76 years to walk across that stage.
On Saturday, 95-year-old Joe Perricone will finally get to graduate from Hillsborough High School.
I never thought I'd get one of these.
Greeted by Principal Gary Brady, this is Joe's first time back to the C3. Before the Tampa man could properly graduate with his senior class, he got a call from Uncle Sam, World War II.
My draft board said, you go and serve your country and be a big boy.
So off he went, a soldier in the U.S. Army, with nothing but a keepsake from his fiancée Hope, who would later be his wife for 72 years. Grandson Tom Palermo, a circuit court judge, had the idea to finally get Joe to his graduation ceremony, something he's always wanted.
I think it means the world to see someone we love very much getting to live out a part of his dream.
On Saturday, the kid from the class of 43 will graduate alongside the class of 2019. But his advice to them is timeless.
Whatever you decide to do, do the best you can, plus 10%. That 10% will usually get you over what you're doing.
There you go. I like that. Well, when Hillsborough High opened in the late 1920s, it was one of the 4 largest high schools in the South. And again, that graduation is this Saturday. Congratulations. If you would like to honor our fallen veterans, Cape Coral will have their inaugural Memorial Day parade on Monday. It'll start at Cape Coral Parkway and go from Del Prado Boulevard to Leonard Street. The Southwest Florida Military Museum is hosting it, and they say there will also be lunch at the museum afterwards. There are several Memorial Day events going on in the area. For the full list, just head to fox4now.com. And Lee County Sheriff Carmine Marcino and Deputy Dog Chance will lead that inaugural Memorial Day parade in Cape Coral. So you can look forward to that. That will be from 11:30 until 1:30 right by the Holiday Inn. And there will be plenty of activities. The Shell Factory Nature Park will also hold a Memorial Day family barbecue from noon to 4. There you'll find live music, several contests, including watermelon eating and face painting.
You've also got a chance to get a free American flag this weekend. Ace Hardware Stores is going to be handing out free American flags to all customers. They're the small ones. It's happening at all their stores in Charlotte, Collier, and Lee counties. Ace is partnering with the organization Veteran of Foreign Wars, VFW, and they'll use those donated flags to mark and honor the graves of our veterans on this Memorial Day. Experts are predicting an average hurricane season in the Atlantic and more storms than usual in the Pacific. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, put out that forecast today. For the Atlantic, they're predicting up to 15 named storms, as many as 8 hurricanes, and then it predicts up to 4 of them could be major hurricanes. NOAA also predicts above normal activity in both the Central and Eastern Pacific. In the Eastern Pacific, it expects up to 8 major hurricanes.
So we already crossed off Andrea.
And then I think Barry's the next one.
Barry.
I think that's the next one. But again, I do want to emphasize,
please,
do not get caught up in these hurricane forecasts. They could easily change in the middle of the season. There's some things we're watching, but they could easily go either way. So we'll keep you updated, though, as the season goes on. But we've got heat to talk about for the weekend. Temperatures cranking up into the 90s area-wide. We saw a little bit of that this afternoon, around 90 degrees. But it looks like we could see some mid-90s by the time we get towards Memorial Day, maybe even as early as Sunday. And no rain on the radar here for tonight. We're dry. It looks like we're going to stay rain-free for the time being as temperatures have cooled now into the 70s. Feels great outside, actually. I don't know if you've been out there, but if you haven't, you need to check it out as the humidity has dropped off. And with that east wind at about 10 to 15, it feels great outside. That should continue actually through tomorrow. Take a look at these dew points. We've got readings in the low 60s. Now, to kind of give you some perspective, this time of year, we should easily be seeing dew points in the low to mid 70s. So anytime you see it dropping off this low, particularly this time of year, that is something to be thankful for, and we're expecting that to continue here into tomorrow morning. So readings around 70 as you wake up should be a very comfortable start to your day if you're going to take the dog for a walk, maybe go for a jog. Mid 80s by lunchtime, and then reaching right around 90 degrees again for tomorrow afternoon. We've been seeing that stiff east to northeast wind, and what's been happening is some of the influence of Lake Okeechobee has actually been making it as far west as Lee County and Charlotte County, so temperatures actually barely reaching 90 degrees during the afternoon as a result of that. 92, though, tied the record high in Naples last set back in 2015 for the second day in a row, and it looks like we've got more of that on the way here for tomorrow. But what I want to point out to you is how all the rain is around the edge of this area of high pressure. Notice you don't really see much under it. There are a couple of showers in Alabama and parts of southeast Mississippi. But right under the core of the high is where we're going to see the hottest temperatures over the next few days. We're talking triple digits across parts of Georgia and into North Florida. The high is actually going to slowly sink southward through Sunday into Monday, and I think our hottest temperatures here in Southwest Florida will likely be from Sunday through Tuesday as the center of the high sits right on top of us. Now, eventually by the end of the week, the thing should eventually start to weaken, but it looks like, though, temperatures will stay hot into the low 90s here all the way through the end of next week. But that's when we could see some rain chances being introduced to the forecast. So 92 for your Saturday, 93 on Sunday, and then 94 coming up on your Memorial Day. So it looks like, again, a hot one out there. And then the winds, we're still going to have that around for Friday afternoon and then again on Saturday afternoon. So even though it will be hot, we'll still have that breeze around to kind of keep things in check. And it does not look like the heat index or the actual air temperatures are going to be getting above 100 degrees. So despite what you may have been hearing, I do not see that happening. It's going to be hot, but it won't be as oppressive as what we typically see with the high humidity. 70 degrees for tonight, clear skies, east winds 10 to 15. Tomorrow around 90, sun and clouds, east winds 10 to 20. Your Ingman Marine forecast sees about 2 feet. Inland waters, a moderate chop. UV index tomorrow at an 11. Here's your 7-day forecast, 92 on Saturday. 93 on Sunday, 94, 95 on Memorial Day and Tuesday, and then we'll introduce a slight chance for a shower by next Thursday, but wouldn't be surprised if it's through the end of next week that we stay dry.
Don't dive into this water no matter how hot it gets. The new guidelines for protecting your health from harmful algae blooms in our local waters. A Nashville woman who lost her brother in a shooting put an emotional message in a bottle.
But she wasn't expecting to reach anyone and was shocked when it brought her new friends from here, in Florida. Amber De Silva and her brother Aquila were undeniably close. Well, Aquila was shot and killed at a Waffle House last year, and Amber decided to put her feelings to paper and stuff this note into a plastic bottle. She dropped it into the Atlantic Ocean in Destin in February. A family visiting Panama City found it, read the message, and then found Amber through social media.
I felt like it really meant a lot after they read it, and then they wanted to look into it and see what we're doing and things like that, and just send their support and stuff. I thought that was really cool.
Well, Amber says they are still in touch with the family. She's thinking of making her message in a bottle a tradition so she can share her brother's story with more people who happen to find the bottles.
A reality TV star in trouble here in Florida. This is the mugshot. Why deputies say a Real Housewife of New York violated her probation.
Careful where you swim. The new concerns over water quality standards from the EPA and why experts say could pose a risk to your health. Still ahead on Fox 4 News at 10.
Live from the station that's in your corner, you're watching Fox 4 News at 10.
Just reassuring you, we are staying on top of tonight's big story, those breaking developments in the death of little Layla Aiken. You're looking at the mugshot of the man they suspect hit her with his truck, 19-year-old Logan Hetherington. This is nearly 2 months after she was struck and killed waiting for the school bus. He's now in the Lee County Jail. We're going to have more on this story coming up in just 30 minutes on Fox 4 News at 11. But first, protecting paradise. The EPA is now releasing new guidelines on how much blue-green algae it takes to threaten your health. I'm Patrick Nolan.
And I'm Jane Monreal. So environmental groups are pressuring the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, or DEP, to take action now. Fox 4's Anna Coles explains why this could be important for your health.
Last year's blue-green algae was so bad that it made some people sick.
I'm worried about everybody here's health.
For my health, I have to go.
So the EPA wants to tell you just how dangerous it really is. They just released a set of standards breaking down how much exposure to these toxins, called cyanotoxins, is too much, and when the public should know about it.
For example, if microcystin or a toxin got to a certain threshold, they would be required to put out signs and warning signs.
These guidelines have been in the works for a while, but now some environmental groups are saying they aren't strict enough. So they're pressuring the Florida Department of Environmental Protection to go a step further.
We need the state of Florida to say, yes, this is common sense. Let's absolutely enact this. let's make sure that our people are safe.
So they want the state to set standards that basically cut in half the amount of how much toxin is too much toxin.
The lower thresholds are important because children are more vulnerable to these toxins.
I reached out to the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, and they wrote in an email they were reviewing the EPA's recommendations and in the meantime warn residents to avoid coming into contact with algae and stay out of the water where an algal bloom is present. Anna Coles, Fox 4, in your corner.
Key West is no longer using a popular weed killer on city-owned property. This comes after a California jury ordered the product's maker to pay $2 billion to a couple claiming it caused cancer. The city commission voted unanimously this week to ban herbicides that contain glyphosate, the main ingredient in Monsanto's Roundup Ready. The ban doesn't apply to private property. Roundup has been blamed for causing cancer in thousands of lawsuits against Monsanto's owner. They say the product is safe. And here in Southwest Florida, the Fort Myers Beach Town Council is also looking to ban Roundup. City leaders say an ordinance on the ban should be drafted for a meeting within the next few weeks. Lee County and environmental leaders want to hear from you when it comes to constructing a reservoir to help feed more fresh water back into the Caloosahatchee during the dry season. So they're holding a C43 Reservoir Water Quality Summit. It's happening at the Lee County Administration East Building on Wednesday, June 5th. It'll be from 9 until 4. People from the county are set to be there, as well as South Florida Water Management District and several other organizations.
Happening tonight, firefighters are trying to contain a 400-acre fire near Jacksonville. Just look at this fire line, how dramatic it is at night. They're calling this the Yellow Bluff Fire. Woo, that is some bad visibility from the smoke. They shut down a portion of 95 in both directions in the Jacksonville area. Firefighters say this is actually two separate fires that broke out, and right now they've only got the flames about 25% contained. State troopers are encouraging people who live there to please stay clear, and just keep that in mind if you're headed on 95. Tonight, we're learning more about what happened just before a jet went off that runway and into that river, the St. Johns River in Jacksonville recently. The National Transportation Safety Board said the plane veered there during the landing. It says the flight ran into heavy rain as it started descending and then switched to a different runway where the weather appeared to be better, but the landing gear separated from the plane, which is part of why it ended up in that river.
A man will now spend about 2.5 years in prison for his part in a police chase that eventually ended with a crash into a patrol car. Deontay Davis pleaded guilty to the charges against him. It started when he didn't stop at a stop sign in Fort Myers in October of last year. And when that happened, officers followed him. It wasn't long before he swerved, hitting the driver's side of a patrol car before hitting a culvert. Luckily, that officer was not injured. A television and clothing were set on fire inside a Cape Coral home yesterday. Officers say someone smashed a window and broke into this home on 33rd Terrace, started the fire and stole a Mazda Miata from the garage. Neighbors tell Fox 4 they might have seen a suspect walking down the street, but officers have yet to confirm this. A semi-truck carrying 5,000 pounds of energy drinks caught on fire, causing a mess on the highway. Take a look at this. Wow. It happened just after 4 this morning in Hillsborough County on I-75. There was a mechanical issue near the rear axle when a fire started and spread through the vehicle. The incident closed the southbound lanes of I-75 for several hours. The truck was carrying a load of empty Bang Energy drink cans. The fire was later extinguished by firefighters.
A Real Housewife of New York City now accused of violating her probation. Court records show Luann de Lesseps failed a breathalyzer in April. She pleaded guilty to disorderly intoxication after a Palm Beach County officer arrested her in 2017. She was ordered to stay away from alcohol and attend AA meetings, but a probation officer found she was not doing that. Court records show she was arrested and released. Dennis Rodman is accused of slapping a man at his own birthday party in Delray Beach. Our sister station in Palm Beach County has the report, which says the incident happened last Friday at Buddha Sky Bar, where Rodman was celebrating his 58th birthday. A guy named Jeff Soliloquy told police that Rodman, quote, unprovokedly turned around and smacked him, end quote. right in the face. Soliloquy also told TMZ he went to the hospital. He was diagnosed with a left corneal abrasion. Rodman's lawyer denies the allegations, and police say there's no surveillance video from inside the club. Fox 4 News at 10. We'll be right back right after this. As of tonight, Florida has executed a convicted serial killer. Bobby Joe Long was put to death tonight.
Michael Paluska was there for his final moments.
In the 81-page motion filed this afternoon, Long's attorneys go through a list of grievances. Long killed at least 10 women in the Tampa area in 1984 and admitted to raping 40 others across the state. His lawyers write that Long is mentally ill and always has been, and that he was never fit to stand trial for those crimes. Long's attorneys say it is unconstitutional for the state to execute someone who is mentally ill. Earlier this month, ABC Action News spoke to one of Long's victims. She was abducted at gunpoint and raped for 26 hours, but managed to escape. She is now a master deputy with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office.
If he's executed, great. Justice for me, but mainly for the families who can't be with their loved ones because they were taken too soon, in peace. And if he's not executed, then I'll continue to fight for it. If it doesn't happen until 2020, I'm right there beside my victims' families. I'm going to hold their hand and walk them through it.
He inflicted pain on my daughter and the other victims. And he's worried about pain, what he's going to feel. No. That's not right.
Lulu Williams is the mother of a murdered daughter, done at the hands of Bobby Joe Long, who was convicted and sentenced to death in 1984. He's admitted to killing 9 women in Hillsborough and Pasco counties.
It's just been too long. This is a strain. It's emotional, physical on the family.
The governor signed a death warrant for Long last week, and his attorneys are trying to fight it, saying lethal injection is cruel and unusual punishment because of his medical condition.
And to have this person find excuse after excuse to not to face his judgment, you know. It's time he did that wrong, pay for it. You got to pay for your sins.
An uncle of the victim, too emotional to be interviewed.
Pain just imagine my niece went through.
Long called into the hearing today from the state prison in Stark.
I was told I wasn't required to be there, so I don't want to be there.
The judge heard from experts on lethal injection, including a doctor from California, who said the procedure is not cruel and unusual for Long's condition.
No, the time has come. It's time to end this.
In Hillsborough County, Wendy Lane, ABC Action News.
Well, Cape Coral man was seriously injured after being involved in an accident in his own garage yesterday morning. Police believe 74-year-old Glenn Wicks was trying to exit his SUV and placed it in reverse instead of park. A report by Cape Coral police says Wicks was pinned between his car and the pillar next to the garage door. When police arrived, Wicks was not breathing, didn't have a pulse, but they were able to get it back. By the time EMTs arrived, he was taken to the hospital with serious life-threatening injuries.
How many times are we distracted or doing something else or in a hurry, and that could easily happen to you, and so that makes you think, wow, that could have been me, it could have been somebody I loved.
Yeah, so sad. Police say there is home security video of the incident, which they will use to help piece together what led up to this crash.
A heads up if you have any kids in the Lee County school system, student enrollment offices in Cape Coral and Lehigh Acres are closing at the end of this month. Now, the staff will relocate to the Lee County District headquarters. That's our main enrollment office on Colonial Boulevard at Fort Myers. For more information on student enrollment and office locations, just head to leeschools.net. It is almost the end of the school year for students in Collier County. Can you believe it? There are going to be 2 early dismissal days. They're Friday, May 24th and Thursday, May 30th, which is the last day for students. Elementary, middle, and high school students will be released 3 hours earlier than normal. Protecting our wildlife in paradise.
Fox 4 taking you into the heart of a well-known forest in our area to show how the experts are making sure woodpeckers can survive wildfires.
College paid for? Sounds so nice. The newest college Disney workers can now attend for FREE free if they're eligible.
This is free. Beautiful picture of Cape Coral, Cape Harbor. Wow, what a nice day we had.